So of course today's gonna be just say hello. I'm back. We're back, and I hope you are back too, because it seems to me that now the fun is gonna start. And I think also the reason why I thought it was good that we just took a well-deserved break from all those live streams was that simply we needed to wait, right? I felt like we have talked about everything there was to talk about. You knew, or you know, the portfolio that we hold. Remember Betty's portfolio? And I felt like it was kind of like a repeat myself every, over and over and over. And also this waiting period felt long at times. So anyway, it seems to me that we are on track. We are on track. And now the real fun is going to start. So I will be more live because remember, it's our mission to finish at the third cycle, take Bitcoin until Bitcoin hits 250,000. And when we all got lots of coins in the right pocket and the left pocket and the back pocket. And I think it's going to take another year. So in case you got time, and you want to hang around and continue and finish what we started, well, I'm here. We're back. And trust me, the live streams make a, hell of a lot more fun than making those boring videos. Let me know what you think about the videos. Anyway, let's start. I did prepare a small presentation. And the presentation today is basically just a summary of where we left it and why I believe that we are very much on track to hit Bitcoin 250,000. And so there are going to be some technical errors today. I hope you are okay with that. I can see all my transitions are not working. And by the way, can you even hear me? Can you hear me? That would be important. Let me know if you can hear me before we start. And then we go right at it. Yeah. And can you hear me? And it's funny, all my transitions are not working. Anyway, that also doesn't matter. If someone can write if you can hear me, then it's great. But I think you can, right? Let me know. Can you hear me? Okay, well, anyway, let's start. I believe you can hear me. And it goes a little something like this. I want to welcome you to Crypto Never Sleeps. And in case you're new to this channel and want to stay on top of the crypto world, well then do me a favor, hit like, smash, subscribe, and all them goodies so that you can be notified every time we go live and upload new videos, because that is important. It's important to me so that you can protect your wealth, preserve your wealth, and ultimately increase your wealth. My name is Nico Arachi, and I believe I am on course to remain and stay #1.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's young, he's handsome, he's a prophet, he's a poet. They know it. I must be the greatest. I told the world.
And as always, we're going to start with looking at the Bitcoin price. And let me just see here. Oh, I went on the wrong side. This is funny. Here we go. All-time high. Wow. All-time high. What can I say? I think it's important that we went through the previous all-time high in order to, to say that the sky is the limit. Now, as always, as you know, we always tend to look at the 7-day moving average, and we still do. And the 7-day moving average on the weekly, we are very much above. What is funny, you see, if we look at, let's go in and scroll out here and look at the daily. Remember we were here, when was it, last week, when we touched on 73,000. That was on October 29th. I was actually almost prepared to go live. I was thinking we're going to hit an all-time high there, a new all-time high, then we need to go live. But funny enough, it didn't manage to really break through. And remember, we always talk about market manipulation, and I do believe that there were some some, hidden forces in play that they did not want. They did not want Bitcoin to hit a new all-time high prior to the election. It simply had to be that a new all-time high would be achieved, would be hit the moment Donald J. Trump was confirmed as the new president of the United States. The reason why I'm saying that is a good sign for us, right? Remember, I like to prioritize and focus on psychology of the market. And the psychology and the markets, as we know, market manipulations, they are somehow being controlled by the elite or by the hidden forces or whoever. And they wanted us to believe, us to know that Trump is good for Bitcoin and Bitcoin is good for Trump, which equals that the future of finance is being built right in front of our eyes, and it's being built on the blockchain. And that is why I believe we are going to see Bitcoin now skyrocketing until October 2025 to 250,000. So I'm not going to today look too much at each single coin, right? We haven't seen each other for so long. So I thought this should just be a brief summary and a summary of where we kind of left it. So no need to go in and look at all those coins. We got a lot of time. But remember, time is of essence. And I certainly hope that you and your friends and everybody you know that they have been able to buy some cryptocurrencies at low rates. Anyway, let's see who's in the chat. I'm scared actually to go to the chit chat because I don't know who's here. Oh, let's see. Who is here today? You see, of course, when you go live today, you're scared. Are there going to be anybody? Is anybody going to be here today? And let me go here and check it out and see who is here. Well, we got 9. It is good to see. I can, of course, Blockchain Betty's in the back, and I can see the first one here, Queen, my Queen. Mwah! How have you been? Please let me know, please. Southbound, Tony, you're also here. Good to see you. How are you all doing? And Christian is here. Christian, you must be one of the new ones, not one of the real old lions. And it took long. It took very long to come back. Well, I didn't know what to do. Shahid Hamid, my soul brother. Good to missed all of you. We got tight take. Anyway, guys, and Den is here. Good to see you, Den. What have you been doing, all of you, during this time? Did you, Michael, I've been missing you too. Did you, is it the best thing is sometimes just to leave it all behind? You see, we were very confident where we were going, where this journey is going to take us, right? Of course, it was also complicated for me, let's say, right? You don't feel like you want to, dedicate to crypto. You just gotta wait. And of course, it's not so easy to wait when the majority of the coins are down, somewhere at 60 to 90%. Crypto Charlie, lots of love. And it is just good to see all of you. I hope we're gonna increase this little family of ours, and that all the old lions will come back. Anyway, let's go back to I wanted to show a funny thing, and I also know Shahid, he can remember those times. Just when we started actually the channel back in 2021. Let's scroll out and look at the weekly. And I remember at that time, that was in November 2021, when we saw Bitcoin hitting its new all-time high at, when was it? Let me just scroll out here. When was it even? No, it was in, I think it was there. It was there, not at 60,000. No, it was down here. Wow, it was down here. It was down here. There. It was in, that was also, anyway, I think it was 2021. We started the live stream, and the first one who was there was actually Shahid, my soul brother. Anyway, time flies. 3 years we've been doing this channel, But I think we've been doing good. And that leads me to the presentation that we have prepared today. BTC, new all-time high, but what is to come, right? What is to come? Because you know that we focus more on all other cryptocurrencies than Bitcoin. But Bitcoin being the market leader, Bitcoin being the dominant force, the fundamental of the future of finance, we need to follow that. And then all the other coins will obviously follow. Not all. Therefore, it's going to be more important than ever to identify the market leaders. And remember here, we're not so much into the meme coins. It's funny. My good friend, Ivan Antek, who I love and adore, and he's probably one of the smartest individuals that we have in the blockchain space. And but he's become a real meme lover. I just still think that long-term fundamentals of the meme coins is not really given. Anyway, as you know, what we always been talking about. So in case you're new to this channel, should anyone be new, then it's also a summary of where we kind of left it. Now, I'm calling this the third cycle. Web3 and the third cycle, I think, when it's going to be based on my estimates, will end around end of 2025 with Bitcoin somewhere between 200 and 250,000. Now, as you know, we have always looked at the historical corrections, and this is the third one. As you all remember, we I believe we did, called the low. Remember, we were thinking Bitcoin could go as low as 12,000, but in November 2022, at around 15,708, I said, no, I think this is it. This is it. And this is exactly when we saw here in November 2022. And remember, prior to that, what we also did here on the channel is that we basically announced when we sold. But anyway, so in 2022, when we hit the low, what did we base it on? We based it on the Bitcoin's historical corrections, right? So the first one from 13 to 15 was 14 months, from 17 to 18 was 12 months, and then the last one from 21 to 2022 was 12 months, where we saw Bitcoin go down by 77%. So we actually held this live stream on November the 26th, 2022. 2 years ago, Bitcoin reached the bottom. So it was kind of a good prediction. You can see this is where it was. This is where we were down there. And since then, it's only been going up. Now, the funny thing is, and this is what you and I, we know, all of us here, the Crypto Never Sleep lines, is that we could have already made some good gains from that point, right? And we probably have. But the real gains are coming now. Because remember this Bitcoin, if you're going to go in and look at most of the altcoins, they're still very much down. Anyway, so the good thing is, where I believe that we are now, is that we are in the new bull market. And here we also have the previous 3 ones from 2010 to 2013. So it took from 10 to 13, it took 1,399 days from Bitcoin hitting its low in 2010 to hitting its new all-time high in 2013. The next one is 2013 to 2017. It took 1,461 days. And, in 2017 to 2021, it took 1,431 days. And that's why we could approximately anticipate that, we could reach the new high sometime around October 2025. So there's not so much, let's say hocus pocus to this. However, we use other approaches than just timelines or counting days. We like to use, let's say, the psychology of the market cycle. And we love this chart because it does say a lot about human psychology and we can refer to it. Again, it's not all we do, but this one is actually a little bit fun. So it's actually fun. When we have gone through this bear cycle, right? And when we come to the end of it here, disbelief, this is a sucker's rally. What we got to do now from a psychological point of view is we got to go back here to the beginning of the chart, right? And then the first one here, hope a recovery is possible. Well, we have gotten that kind of, right? Soon we're going to see optimism. This rally is real. You and I, we're already optimistic. But what is that we need? We need investors, institutional as well as retail, countries. We need all that lovely, lovely money to go from traditional to digital. And we are really on track. So we're optimistic. But anyway, the people, the new investors, they would, come in with the optimism and say that this rally is real. Then they will believe, they will start believing, and then they will get fully invested. By that time, we already should be somewhere between 500 to 1,000% in plus with our coins. It goes up to the thrill. I want to buy more, much more, much, much more. And I want to buy it on margin. And I got to tell everyone to buy. This is then the time period where the milk ladies and the taxi drivers all are talking about crypto. And everyone and their sister and the best friend and the dead grandma knows better than you. It's funny, when I still travel around, speak to some people and they say, what are you doing? I say, well, crypto. Everybody always got a better advice from me than actually asking me. But that's also okay. Then we come to the peak, to the euphoria. I'm a genius. We're all going to be rich. And remember, the majority of investors, they buy high and sell low. Not you and I. We buy low and we sell high. And when the euphoria is coming, I am a genius, we're all going to be rich. We will also know that when the mainstream media is gonna, keep telling us to buy Bitcoin at 250,000. Go, 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 go. Anyway, that's where we're gonna exit the market. Remember, we also did look, and I'm happy we did that. I'm happy that we looked at Wyckoff. The Wyckoff price cycle, or let's say the 4 phases of Wyckoff, which was accumulation, markup, distribution, and markdown. I'm not going to go into this today, but I think you will be quite surprised how his pattern actually played out. Anyway, so this is a price cycle, right? Oversold and overbought. And he has made 2 accumulation patterns, number 1 and number 2, and we were pretty clear always that we would follow the second accumulation pattern. So just keep, you should focus just on this a little bit, and we've been talking a lot about this in the past, right? Now, if we go in here and we look how Bitcoin looks, right? Anyway, it's probably hard for you to really, get it together. So I asked Betty if we could actually take this pattern, this chart, and put it on top of Bitcoin and then see what it would look like. And look at this. Look at this. So Betty was able to take it. Now, it is true that it's been stretched a little, but obviously the green is the Wyckoff pattern. And behind it, in orange and blue, is Bitcoin. Remarkable. Remarkable, right? And here we do it again, compare it. Now we can see you gotta say there's a lot of resemblance, right? And I believe we're just about to take off. Anyway, so we're looking at the psychology, we're counting days, right? We look at a smart individual like Wyckoff and how can it all add up? Another thing that we were looking at is the national debt of the United States. And I don't know if you remember, but what is this here? 5-6 months ago, remember we were talking about where at that time, most of the sentiment was that the Federal Reserve would not cut rates. You, Betty, we disagreed with that. We thought that the Federal Reserve very much would start cutting rates. And we even said that probably in September Tomorrow we'll show the clips from the live streams where we predicted that. But why did we predict that? It's so simple, because we also talked about that. We did it because, you see, the Federal Reserve, they claim that their main responsibility is to fight inflation. This is kind of bullshit, right? Because when the more money you print, obviously the Federal Reserve is responsible for every percent of inflation that we see. But nevertheless, Jerome Powell came out, told his version of the truth, which was that inflation is tamed, the economy is strong, everything is lovely, which is why we saw, which was nice, 0.5% cut in September. Ooh, I wanted to go live there, but we needed more verification, right? Then we got Trump becoming the president in between. And then when was it? Yesterday, we saw that the Fed was cutting another 25 basis points. This is good for business. This is good for you and I. But why did they really cut? Because inflation is not tamed, nor is the economy strong. And now going back to one of the main things that we were talking about, the debt situation in the United States. You see, I'm now going to read, this slide is from the time, 5-6 months ago when we were doing the live streams, right? The US debt is rising by $1 trillion every 3 months. And US interest expense is rising by $100 billion every 4 months. The US government debt has, so when they issue, government bonds, it has a much shorter term than most other countries, because rates are, or they were currently higher due to attempts to deal with inflation. Previously issued low interest debt is now being reissued at much higher rates. So when there's higher rates, it means that you have to spend more on the interest of the government bonds issued. So if the central bank doesn't cut or would not cut rates, at that time we were speaking about 150 basis points, 1.5%. Now we got already half of that. Then the United States government would be spending 1.6 trillion on interest at the year end of 2024. And that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And the one thing that the people they lead do not want is that the current monetary system is going to implode before everything has been migrated onto the blockchain. That's at least my very simple view and analysis. But so far, it looks like our analysis is spot on. The other issue has been spending from the government has continued to rise, or it's always rising, right? So with the US government spending past 5 months, it was in the beginning of the year, 2.7 trillion, up 9% year over year, on course for a 6.7 trillion in fiscal year 2024. That's why we pretty much came out and said, we think Jerome Powell is gonna cut rates. So we were looking at the US national debt was on course to double every 8 years. So we could see by, by 2026 or something, it would be 40 trillion, or by 2025, second half of 2025, would be increased from the 35 trillion to 40. That's just too quick. Now, here we are seeing the cost of US government debt. So basically the interest that the government would have to pay. So we can see in 2008, they paid 450 billion. Then in 2020, it was 584 billion. And if they now would not have decreased the interest rate or started cutting the rates, they very much would be at 1.1 trillion. That's a lot of money. So this was the chart that we were also looking at. And you can see that if they would, here on the right, if they would cut the interest rates by 150 basis points, the US government would only have an outstanding payment of 1.2 trillion versus if they would have not cut the rates, or imagine they would have increased them, it would have been at 1.6 trillion. This was our analysis, and it seems that we were right there. And that's good for our business. Moving on. You see, the question is always, the US actually wanted or needed to increase the attractiveness of the US bonds that they were issuing. How do you increase the attractiveness? Obviously by higher rates. Because the worst thing that can happen to the US government, and it is, on its way to implode, would be if nobody would want to buy their new issued bonds. How did they solve that problem, or how are they solving that problem? Now you got to pay attention, because now, as they say, the circle becomes round, or we square the circle, I don't know how you say. So they can lower the rates, so they have less expenses, but they still need to have someone who's going to buy their new issued government debt. And believe it or not, it's crypto. Let me just go here, 1 second. Bam. Let's go here and look at this. Stablecoins. This is also an older article. It's back from August. Stablecoins hold around 1% of US Treasury bills today. So Juan Leon, who highlights the growing influence of stablecoins in the US Treasury bill market. Currently, stablecoins hold approximately 1% of US Treasury bills. But he projects that this could surge to 15%, potentially making them one of the top 3 holders of these securities. Right? So he shared a Bloomberg chart illustrating that as of June this year, Tether held $80.9 billion in treasury bills, surpassing Schwab's US Treasury Money Fund at $70 billion and Fidelity Investments Money Market Treasury Only Fund at $79 billion. So these positions, stablecoins, this positions stablecoins as significant players in the market, a role traditionally dominated by the $6.19 trillion money market mutual fund industry. So this is good. And there was another article here that I also back from August, and that was that. Let me see here. There was some other. Anyway, I think you get the point. So this is so important, and this was a missing piece of the puzzle that I'm sure many analysts simply didn't understand. Back to the presentation. I think we are still, and I would like to keep this as a prediction that I think is just around the corner. What is going to be one of the next white swan events? Because that really is going to take the market higher. It needs another kiss. It needs another kick in the ass. It needs whatever. And remember back in 2020 or when it was 2021, we had Elon Musk being the white swan with the white dog or the dog, the Dogecoin, right? Where it really kickstarted or got retail investors hyped about crypto. I am sure the next white swan is going to be Uncle Buck here. Berkshire Hathaway and Billionaire Investor. I always forget his name, but you know who I'm talking about, right? One of the most successful investors in the world. So I'm sure when we're gonna see, why do I forget his name? What is his name? Anyway, you know. So I think it's only a matter of time, and he will come out and probably announce that they're gonna allocate some of Berkshire Hathaway's current huge cash position into cryptocurrencies. He's gonna follow BlackRock, right? So let me just go to the chit chat. See, is anybody there? And if there's any questions, or if not, then we will move right on to to the last part, which is just a small part. Let me see, is anybody here or any questions? Anyway, so let me move on. Warren Buffett, thank you. Ron Jeremy is also here. Warren Buffett, you were quick. Exactly, Warren Buffett. Geopolitics has always played a role in financial investments. And we will also, we would have to follow that. Not today, but it's not like I didn't forget about it. What is funny is that the BRICS is continuing its expansion. And the war in Ukraine, hopefully, Trump, didn't he say that the war would be over within 24 hours? Well, let's see. Apparently, he already has a plan. I would surely appreciate if this war in Ukraine could come to an end. We're going in, and February is going to be 3 years since they started. Nevertheless, the BRICS are really taking off. They are, it seems to be the future. And here we can see that these are the 5 new, so the founding members, of course, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And there we got the 5 new members, Saudi Arabia and UAE, United Arab Emirates, Iran, Egypt, and Ethiopia. But if we go, I wanted to share here about all the new applicants or the countries that are applying, and there are quite many. In fact, I think it's around 30. And let me just get it up here. Here we go. Now, this is from December 2023. But if you scroll down, you can see these are the 20 new BRICS candidate countries. And we got Afghanistan. Just read it quick. We got Algeria, Bangladesh, Bolivia, Cuba, Ecuador, Indonesia, Mongolia, Nicaragua, Nigeria, Pakistan. Pakistan just found huge amounts of oil, not to be underestimated. We got Senegal also, Sri Lanka, Sudan, Thailand, Turkey, which is also a member of NATO, right? Turkey actually provides, you could say, NATO with the 2nd largest army in terms of manpower. Uruguay, Uzbekistan, Venezuela. So there are a lot. But that doesn't mean that the European Union are not fighting back. In fact, the European Union are also very much focusing on expansion. And they were lucky and saw it as a huge success that the poorest country, the smallest country in Europe, Moldova, has actually chosen to elect their current president, and she won again, that they will pursue a path to joining the European Union. Now, it's not even a done deal that they will join, but at least they slightly won a majority, because Moldova is between obviously Romania and Russia, so it's a very hot topic in terms of where the country is located. But nevertheless, the EU, they're celebrating this little success. I guess when you compare the BRICS success in terms of expanding and the countries that want to be a part of the BRICS, and if you look at Moldova wanting to join the EU, and that was not even a very convincing, let's say, victory for the current pro-European Union president in Moldova. My thoughts on that is, you see, I travel to my kids every second month, or every second weekend, from Ukraine to France. And I drive through Moldova, and I fly from Moldova. Moldova is a very, very, very small country. It's a lovely country, lovely people. But everyone I spoke to there understood that, no, they would like to remain neutral. Because why would they want to join EU when it probably would just mean that they would have to kind of maybe even fight Russia, or 100% guaranteed prices will increase. I don't know how they did. I don't know how she won, but it seems to me that the average individual in Moldova had no interest in joining the EU, but somehow they got around to that. Also things and topics that we will talk about. And that's it from today. Before we will go, however, I think there's one interesting thing we should look at, and that is the portfolio. Obviously, we're going to talk about that a lot in the coming days, but I didn't really look at this portfolio until today. I really took a break and believed in the positions that we are holding. So why I want to run through this is because, in case you're new, I still believe that there's lots of potential, but don't wait too long. So I just want to scroll through so you can see I will only mention the ones we are down because that means that you could potentially buy them cheaper than we did. Before I end, just remember this is not financial advice, and you need to do your own research. It's very important. I don't promote anything. I don't sell anything. In fact, I own nothing. All I do is I manage a portfolio for Betty. And she's pretty happy though. So we're still down with Illuvium, 47%. We are down 29% with Kusama. We are down 65% with Gamify. Now remember, Gamify was never, let's say, a substantial holding that I think that has real, true, fundamental value. We made a lot of money in the second cycle, and we held. I haven't even been in and looking at that, which I will do now since we are going live again. Synthetics down 2.6%. Look at that, by the way. Mantra DAO up 6,000%. That position is already now worth $2 million for Betty, so she's pretty happy. Anyway, Litentry down 34%. Energy Web Token still down 68%, even though I got a lot of love for them. Storage down 22%. Cross Network down 42%. 67% to Kill. There's also a Polkadot. 50%. Curve still down below from when we bought it. 1 inch only down 4%. 22% Moonbeam down. And what else did we got here? Cartesi down 36% since we entered. Sheetan Network down 46%. IOTA, which I don't have a lot of belief in, but it's down 33%, so I wouldn't really recommend that. A Star down 10%. And then we got Unibright down 36% since we got in. And then Red Kite down 82%. I gotta say, Red Kite and Gamify, remember, these are the gaming launch pads that did very good in 2021. What else do we have? Insurace down 78%. It's actually gone up quite good, right? It was down like 90% the last time we were looking. And then we got Sealer down 10%. We got Umbrella Ella down 73%. I think it was also more down. Wow, I haven't looked at this. We will talk more about this when we see each other. Don't buy Virtual Poker now. That was a hype. And that's about that. Engine Start also down, but we will talk more. Tomorrow we'll talk about the ones that has been doing good, and many more will do good. Guys, that's it from today. I mean, the first live stream. I was nervous. But I can't say how much I appreciate to see all of you. I love you, and I really do this. I need to do this to prove that we will, and we were right, the right side of history when it came to investing.